Introduction to supply. Supply. Supply refers to the total amount of goods or services available for purchase. In agriculture, supply is variable according to the season, how much land is devoted to that crop, and other factors influencing production. The law of supply. When all other factors are equal, the law of supply states that as the price of a commodity or product increases, the supply of that product increases. Why? Discuss. Why would the supply of a commodity increase when the price increases? Producers will make more of a product for which they can earn more money. In the case of agriculture, farmers will plant more of a crop if they can charge a higher price for it. What would happen to supply if the price decreases? Discuss. Producers will make less of a product for which they can earn less money. In the case of agriculture, farmers will plant less of a crop if the price they can sell it for declines. The law of supply only considers the producers, in this case the farmers. Farmers' decisions about how much of a crop to produce depends on how much they can charge for it. If farmers can charge more, then they will devote more of their land and time to growing that crop. If the amount they can charge for that crop declines, then they will switch their resources to other crops which can provide more income. A supply schedule, such as the table below, is a way to understand the relationship between supply and price. This supply schedule shows how the price of a ton of bananas corresponds to their supply. Note that as the price rises, so too does the supply produced. The supply curve. As with the demand schedule and demand curve, the supply schedule can be used to create a supply curve, which graphically shows that same relationship between price and supply. This supply curve shows that under a specific set of conditions, that the higher the price a farmer can charge for a crop, the more of that crop they will produce. The supply curve is created from the supply schedule by following the same steps as the demand schedule. Price values are denoted on the y-axis, quantity on the x-axis. Label the axes and choose values for each axis that will provide the best graph of the data. Answers may vary. This is one choice for the axes, but there are many possible choices. Next, plot the points from the supply schedule onto the graph. Next, draw the line of best fit and remove the coordinates from the graph. This is the supply curve that matches the given supply schedule. Movement on the supply curve is impacted by the price of a crop rising or falling, resulting in farmers producing more or less of that crop. The supply curve shifts by factors such as the unexpected destruction of part of a crop by pests, flooding, etc., shifting the supply curve upwards. A higher than expected yield, shifting the supply curve down. Technological advances that improve efficiency and produce unexpected supply, shifting the supply curve down. An export market opening up, decreasing local supply, shifting the supply curve up. An import market opening up, increasing local supply, shifting the supply curve down. Do you see a pattern to the impact of these factors? Discuss. Changes in price and supply that are due to decisions by producers result in movement along the supply curve. These are based on all other conditions being unchanged. Changes in price and supply due to changes in conditions, not the decisions of producers, result in shifts in the supply curve. Once those new conditions have become part of the environment, the new supply curve determines the new relationship between price and supply. The supply curve. As with the demand curve, changes of supply due to price represent movement on the supply curve. Shifts that are due to factors other than price move the supply curve itself. Then, movements due to price are experienced on that new supply curve. For example, perhaps a flood destroys a local crop. That would immediately shift the supply curve upwards, increasing prices. This could lead to farmers deciding to use more land for the crop. That decision is reflected in the new shifted supply curve. Elasticity of supply. Just as in the case of demand curves, supply curves can have different slopes. The steeper the slope, the less impact there will be on the quantities supplied as price changes. A steep slope reflects an inelastic supply curve. A flatter slope represents a more elastic supply curve. Which of these curves reflects a more elastic supply curve? Discuss. The blue curve reflects a more elastic supply. In that case, the supply changes appreciably in response to a change in price, representing an elastic supply curve. The green curve represents a relatively inelastic supply curve. The supply does not change much as the price changes. Why do you think that supply for a crop or product may be relatively inelastic? Discuss. Inelasticity could result from history and local traditions. If a crop has been grown by a family for a long time, they could be slow to reduce the land committed to it, even if its price declines. Also, it may take considerable time and investment to begin growing a new type of crop. If there's a doubt as to whether the lower price for a crop will be sustained, a farmer could decide it's safer to accept that lower price and hope it rises in the future rather than risk investing in a new type of crop. These types of effects result in an inelastic supply curve. Elasticity could result from there being a low cost to growing more of the crop whose price has increased. If it's a crop already being grown, or like a crop being grown, farmers could quickly dedicate more land and resources to growing more of the crop in response to a rising price. The farmer could respond quickly to a price rise by increasing supply, or if it's easy to switch to another crop, they could respond quickly to a price decrease by growing less. These types of effect result in an elastic supply curve.